Good morning. I'm making chicken soup. It's going to be the most delicious chicken soup you've ever tasted. I promise you. If you know anything about me, you know I love to cook things from scratch, and sometimes I tell you, look, that's just me. I'm just obsessed with cooking and eating and homemade dishes, but this truly is something that is worth your time. It's not that complicated. You just leave it on the stove to simmer because I'm using whole chicken, and I think when you make your own stock or your own broth, it's a whole other world. It tastes completely different. It touches somewhere deep in your soul. It's so salty and rich and fresh as well. It's just spectacular. It's all with fresh ingredients. I mean, I just went to the market and got all these vegetables. I just went into the garden early this morning and got all these fresh herbs. That's it.
Grazie mille. It's 11 o'clock. I'm very hungry. I didn't have breakfast. So I bought lemon.
It's like the one morning I didn't cook you breakfast.
Yeah.
Povero.
So this is what happens when
No,
you don't cook breakfast.
this is your breakfast. No, fantastic. No, I love it.
Una forchettina?
Sì. Io subito se è buono.
Forchettina?
Buono.
Buona colazione.
Ci vorrebbe un bicchiere di vino bianco, ma non si può.
Oh yeah, Guido's given up alcohol for Lent.
My name is Guido and I'm not drinking. It's 14 days I'm not drinking. Come anche patate.
Come pane.
Oh.
Due patatine come pane.
Mangia una patatina, dai.
No, sto bene. This isn't so good for your blood pressure though.
Yeah, but I'm not drinking, so
Oh, okay.
I hope that compensates.
It's quite easy. I know I tend to do some recipes that are certainly not easy, but this is practically foolproof, I think. So let us begin with the chicken. There are many different ways you can do it. I actually made this recipe 4 days ago, I think, and it was so good. I just thought, I want more, because it's that strange in-between stage. It's not yet spring, but it's not really winter, and I think when the seasons change, I know I can tend to get allergies and things like that, so it's a good time to boost your immunity and fill yourself up with that really life-affirming liquid that is chicken stock. And also I'm going to be making, it's chicken noodle soup, chicken pasta noodle, egg noodle soup. I'll be making the noodles from scratch. Obviously, what did you expect? You know me by now. And that's your choice. You can obviously just add some dry pasta or buy some egg noodles, some fresh egg pasta, and add that in. But the fact is that once you get this, we need a big pot. Once you get this in the pot, and it's just simmering away there, you're kind of free for the rest of the morning. So I think if you wake up on a Sunday morning, you could start this at about 9 a.m. and have it in time for lunch. I tend to start it in the morning and have it for dinner, so I just sort of leave it on there, just getting more and more full of flavour and reducing down, and that's the way I like to do it. But it's not necessary to leave it so long. You could just leave it for a couple of hours, a few hours, but I tend to leave it for all day, pretty much. Now, where is my clip? There's many different ways you can do chicken soup. I'm sure you have your own family recipe. I've made it before, where I've taken apart all the chicken and then roasted the bones in the oven. But for me, that's just sort of like another step. It's quite nice if you then you have to come back to it and check on it and then put it all in. So I sort of like to just pan fry the chicken, so that then you can have the Maillard effect where it just goes all nice and golden, and then that golden outer chicken skin and everything will give us such depth of flavour while it's simmering in the pot, and it doesn't take too long. When I made it last week, I didn't actually cut apart the chicken. With the whole chicken, I just put it in the fry pan, turned it over twice, and then put it into the pot. But I don't know. I might cut these bits up just so that you can see what it's like. If you didn't want to get a whole chicken, if you're just cooking for yourself or something, you could just get the dark meat. Obviously, duck. Hello.
Hello.
Ciao.
Wow. Ciao, chicken.
And we're about to start.
Okay.
Are you wanting lunch?
No. I was just looking for the coffee.
I found your
Thank you.
thing, non so dove l'ho messo. Ma dove l'ho messo? Ma potresti usare quello, no?
See? Are you warm enough?
Yes. Yeah, I added some more logs.
Bravo.
So,
Don't disturb.
No. I was just trying to think what I was saying. So yes, white meat versus dark meat. Do you know, some people say that you shouldn't leave the white meat, the breasts, in too long because then they'll get dry and that will be a problem. But do you know what? I left the breasts in for I think 6, 7.
Shall we take out the breasts and eat them separately?
Oh, I'm glad you're here because you can. Here we have someone who tasted my soup.
It was very good.
Delicious, no?
Yeah, I was thinking, it was very, very good.
Però, cioè, io avevo lasciato. I left the breast in all day cooking. I didn't take it out, and it wasn't dry, no?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, appunto.
No.
And then I want to shred the meat because I don't really like when chicken soup has pieces of chicken. I don't know.
No,
Cioè,
it shouldn't.
that was the reaction we were looking for. No, because I think then it doesn't sort of soak up all the broth as much, and then sometimes it's dry. In fact, that must be the case where people say that it's dry when they're just chopping pieces of chicken. But when you shred it all up, I think it just becomes one with the broth, and it's lovely. Quindi, what am I doing? I think so. I'll start.
You know what they do in Italy?
What, Mori?
Fanno il bollito.
Sì.
So they boil all the piece of meat,
Yeah.
then they use the broth with the tortellini on the side, and then they use the meat with mayonnaise, the salsa verde, and have it as another course,
Sì.
as another.
Yes, but that's basically what I'm doing. But I think, but
I'm just messing up with you.
No, it's fine. But I mean, that's if you wanted the whole dish to be pasta. But we don't. We want it to be a bit more nutritious and have the majority of.
Because what's more nutritious than pasta? Sorry.
We want the majority of la zuppa to be chicken and vegetables.
Ciao.
No? Ciao. With some little noodles. So, what do you think about the noodles? I was thinking I might do le farfalle, no? Little butterfly pasta.
Are you doing?
Sì.
You're producing the pasta?
Sì.
Wow, whatever.
No?
Yeah.
But because the best thing is that it's a small pasta, no? Like a small pasta, so that then you can just drink it with a spoon and it all, like you want the little piece of pasta to fit on the spoon.
You want it that it doesn't break apart. So it's
Exactly.
small and dense.
Okay, ciao. So, just cut along here and along here. And then you feel down here, in the center here, that's how you can just know where to cut the chicken breast, the breasts that just go along there and on the other side. You should just be able to feel where the white meat stops and just cut it along. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go, we've got 2 chicken breasts there. I'm just going to salt them so that they go up nice and golden in the pan. Okay, so just cut these off so it can sit a bit more flat in the pan. A little bit of olive oil. My pan is very hot because we want it to sizzle when it goes in. I'm just washing this knife so it doesn't have the chicken on it because, I don't know, just to keep things a bit safer. In order to create the Maillard effect, just think of them, I always think of them like the little Maillard men are building a bridge of goldenness, and you can't disturb them. Every time you move a piece of meat, they fall down. So you just leave them there, don't touch them, and then they will create their magic, which is just all the flavour is going to come from this. Well, some will come from the bones, obviously, but this just gets our stock off to a really good start. These can just be put in half, and then we just get that nice surface area in the pan. I might use these 4 little ones for the actual soup, and these I will use for the stock. And they can go straight into the pot. And the garlic you can just cut apart like this and put it straight in with the skin. Okay, I've turned the frying pan off, and now I'm just going to roughly chop this leek. Ciao.
Hello.
And celery.
Just tell me.
2 stalks of celery I'll just keep for the actual soup, and all the rest of this with the leaves, which create a lot of flavour, I'll just put that all into the pot. And it's just it's really going to help balance things out, because we have the carrots for sweetness and we have the garlic and onion, and celery is underestimated in terms of its contribution to flavour. What else do we have? I think that's it, yeah. Now we can get the pan off the fire. Okay, and we have chicken go right in. It's going to be delicious. Oh, look at that. Look, can you see that? Look at that flavour there. That we are going to use, all of you. Okay, and there's not really anything left on the pan, so I'm not missing out on anything that, any lovely flavour that might have come and stuck to the bottom. And just want it all sitting more or less flat. Just want to show you this. Look, you may be using a smaller pot or less chicken, less vegetables, but whatever you're doing, just make sure that the water is covering all of the chicken bones. We don't want any sticking out because they're creating flavour. And also, I think, just put in as much water as you can, because this broth, you could freeze it and use it for other recipes. Is that about right? Yes. Let's add a whole thing of frond of rosemary And I want to keep some parsley for actually within the soup, but I'll put some parsley in now as well. I want to keep some thyme, but I'll put a big thing of thyme in there now as well. And then these are wild fennel leaves, which I just love. They can go in there as well. And what else do I have? Oregano. Let's just put some of them underneath there. What a delicious little family you're going to become. Yes. Okay. And lastly, we just need some black peppercorns. This is 1 tablespoon of whole black peppercorns, because remember, it's all going to be strained out. I love pepper, so I think let's go crazy and put that all in. Sorry, I'm just so excited because I know what you're going to taste like in a few hours. Okay, so we want this on a high heat because we just want to bring it to the boil, and then when it's at the boil we just reduce it to a simmer and just leave it for 2 hours, 4 hours, whatever you want. Okay, so now what shall we do? Let's get on to prepping the other vegetables so they're all ready to go. So whereas before I was just roughly chopping them, now when I'm thinking about chicken noodle soup and a lovely spoonful, I want there to be the possibility that you could have a bit of carrot, a little bit of celery on the spoon at once. So I want them to be quite neat and small, just diced. And yeah, that's how I like, if you can chop them however you like, but that's for me what I like. I love to have that balance of flavors, and if you have these big chunky pieces, you don't always get that. So the other thing is too, I suppose if you were cooking for children or someone who didn't like vegetables, it's nice to just make them kind of inconspicuous, and then people don't realize that all the flavor is coming from the vegetables, but they don't feel like they're getting a big spoonful of vegetables. Try to sit down, but actually I'm always more comfortable chopping standing up. Now I want a big onion, or in my case 2 small onions, and ooh, what's that got? Ooh. I always find when I'm chopping vegetables, it's handy to just keep a bowl on the table, because otherwise you keep having to go over to the compost bin, and it can sort of slow you down, and it keeps your workspace quite tidy. Sorry, just crying. I find that when I keep onions in the fridge, I don't tend to cry when I chop them, but these ones I just left out. So now I'm a bit of a mess. Whew. I didn't peel the other ones in the stock, but these I will, because I just want it to be, well, they're a bit rough around the edges, and I just want them to feel nice in the mouth. Still have a bit of soil in some of the crevices. Our pot was bubbling, it reached a boil, so I just turned it down now to a very low heat, just to gently simmer away. And now I just want some garlic, but I'm not going to add it into the bowl, because I like to add it later so that it doesn't burn. What should we do? 4 cloves? I think that should be enough. If you just press down them like that, it's just so much easier to remove the skin on the outside. Do you know what? That doesn't seem like enough to me. I think I'm going to add another 2 cloves. Okay, and then I'm also going to use a lemon. Actually, I want a bit bigger, so I might use this 1.5. So sometimes in Italy they say about 80 grams of pasta to 1 egg for pasta. And so I've got 240 grams of flour here. I just added a bit of salt. And I think I'm going to do three eggs, maybe, but I do want it to be a really sort of eggy noodle, no? So perhaps I'll do 3 eggs and 1 yolk. And I'm doing it in a bowl. Yes, you can do it on the counter, on the table, as they say people often do, but I just want to avoid the mess. So I'll just crack them directly into the bowl, and we can still do the little well. There's usually a creek, but I can hear it. It hasn't rained in forever, so there's a little bit of water. Spieghi un attimo perché siamo...
Ora oggi non si fa nulla, e vedi c'è quella quercia lì gigantesca,
Sì,
è morta e bisogna cercare di capire come fare a tagliarla, il problema è che è gigantesca
sì.
e poi i rami rischiano di cascare e danno noia per lavorare il terreno.
Is this cultivated here? This...
Questi sono paveti.
Ah, sì?
Half a day of heating for free. I think this is wild, come si dice bietola?
Bietola, shad.
Wild shark. And it's producing more.
Amazing. It's so green and robust, no?
È facile il decespugliatore.
Ah, sì?
Questo tu devi pigliarlo le mani, scioglie mezz'ora. Però, definitely with this you can be more precise because you're actually like cutting hair.
Sì.
But I'm not doing a great job.
No, because my parents saw how high we let the grass go on the video and they were like, no. So while the soup is simmering, you might just find that there's this sort of white scum that sort of comes to the top, and that just impurities from the chicken, so you can discard that just if you can. I forgot to show you before, I took my chicken breasts out of the stock when they were cooked and just threw the skin back in the pot. This pasta dough is quite eggy, so I just needed a bit of flour to help it through the pasta machine. I cut it into 4 pieces and leave the ones I'm not using under a bowl to keep them from drying out. And then I just work my way through the settings, getting thinner and thinner, but I don't need this to be a super delicate pasta, so this thickness is fine. I'm doing farfalline, which in Italian means little butterflies, except this ancient tool I'm using is a little wonky, so it's like a drunken pasta cutter that won't roll straight. There's often a distinction made between stock and broth. My understanding is that stock uses the bones and vegetables and simmers for a longer time, from 2 to 6 hours, whereas broth mostly uses just the meat and can be ready in 30 minutes. It's confusing then when you hear the term bone broth, but I feel like this has just become a very fashionable term that marketers like to use.
A chicken carcass will be rich in collagen, so the stock will have lots of gelatin, which gives the liquid richness of flavour and body.
Okay, my only concern is, are they too big? If this is a spoon, is that too big? Perhaps I should make them a bit smaller.
I ended up making smaller farfalline to fit nicely on the spoon. And anyway, I'll only be using about 2/3 of these for our soup. I'll use the big ones in another meal.
I just want a simple melody, a song we could sing all the time, a quiet place for you and me, a place where you could be mine. I just want a simple melody, a simple song to stop the time, a quiet place for you and me, a place where you could be mine.
So this has been cooking for about 6 hours, and it was really up to here before, so it's reduced down quite a lot, which is what I want to really concentrate the flavour. Okay, so buonasera, it's now evening. This has been cooking and intensifying all afternoon, about 6 or 7 hours, and I'm excited because this kitchen now smells like herbs and chicken and garlic and deliciousness. And it's time to drain our broth and shred the chicken. So you want one pot that you can drain the liquid into, and another big dish for all the big pieces. So we're just going to discard the vegetables and the herbs and the bones, but I'll just go through and pull out the pieces of chicken that we want to put in the soup. Just want to give this a quick rinse because we're going to be using it again. And now this goes back on the heat. A little olive oil. And then we have the vegetables that we prepped earlier: carrot, onion, celery. And I'll just pop those in. While that's just softening, I can go through and pull out the chicken. I've got the chicken breast here that I shredded earlier, and now it can all just go in together. You might like to wait until it's a bit cooler, but I tend to have fairly heat-resistant fingers, so I just... it's so soft, it just falls apart. Ah, beautiful. And I'll just add in the garlic, and the garlic burns faster, so we just need to sort of saute that for only a little bit. If you want, you could add some white wine. Basically, all the alcohol will cook out of it, but the acidity will be good and it'll give a bit more depth to the flavour. And now we can add back in the liquid. At this point, I'd like to add in a tablespoon of salt, which, aside from the bit of salt we put on the chicken skin, that's the first time I've salted it. I'll just take some time. Some lemon zest. And I'll add the juice of this whole lemon. Lots of black pepper. Now we can add back in all the chicken, the shredded chicken.
And now just taste it to see if you've got the seasoning right, if it needs anything more.
Oh my gosh, that one taste I had is so delicious. I can't wait to eat it.
I added some of the parsley at this point, and I'm just reserving some of it for the very end. Don't put your pasta in until you're sure that your dining partner or family are ready, so that the pasta doesn't get overcooked. I'm using quite a robust pasta, but do take it out before it's al dente because it will still soften while it's in all that hot liquid. Sometimes if I have a lot of liquid and I know we're not going to eat it all in one sitting, I will cook the pasta in a separate pot, just using half of it so that then I don't have soggy pasta the next day.
There is noise everywhere, there is noise all around, and I'm looking for you, there's no reason to hide. There is noise in my head, there's so much in my mind, so much in this world, I don't get what it's all about. I just want a simple melody, a song we could sing all the time, a quiet place for you and me, a place where you could be mine.
It is so salty and satisfying with all the depth of flavour from 6 hours extracting all the richness from the chicken bones and vegetables and herbs. And then the lemon and fresh parsley just lift it all up and you bite into chewy al dente pasta. This doesn't need cheese or bread or anything else. It's deeply comforting and delicious as is. Thank you for watching, thank you to my patrons, and I shall see you next Friday. Alla prossima.
A place where you could be mine.